This nonprofit affordable housing community of 55 rental townhouse units ran into many difficulties over the years. Heated by electricity, tenants were unable to pay the heating bills, units remained empty, and capital repairs depleted the reserves. Finally, the corporation's board of directors approached Niagara Regional Housing for transfer of the community. Niagara Regional Housing, administrator of affordable housing on behalf of Niagara Region, did not want to lose the housing stock, so they agreed to take ownership. Due to the condition of the existing units, a reconstruction plan was created that included the demolition of the existing units and ensured that the final product would be affordable and financially self-sustaining. The demolition and reconstruction was undertaken in 2 phases. This phased approach allowed residents who didn't want to move the choice of staying in their community and their children to continue with the same school. 36 units were rebuilt in Phase 1, and as the units were completed, existing tenants were transferred into them. Phase 2 involved the construction of 22 units. These units were offered to applicants on the affordable housing waiting list. They were also advertised to the general public. The demolition contract required contractors to recycle. To that end, exterior bricks were recycled, first floor joists and plywood decking were reused to save costs. Exterior and partition walls were recycled. They were ground up into chips and sold to greenhouses. ABS piping and copper wiring was also recycled. This recycling helped to keep overall demolition costs down and reduce the project's environmental impact. Estimated savings on total demolition costs are approximately $80,000. The new development included 3 additional units and advanced based on 3 overarching principles. The commitment to energy conservation through extensive use of green technology. The requirement that units remain affordable to tenants both in terms of rent and utility costs. And the need for financial self-sufficiency for long-term sustainability. Structural insulated panels, or SIPs, were used on the exterior walls and roofs. These panels consist of a composite building material made up of an insulating layer of rigid foam sandwiched between 2 layers of structural board. The SIP panels have an R value of R24 for the walls and R35 for ceiling, and far exceed the original building construction, which had an R value of R12. The new exterior finish is a cement product that is easy to install and will last a lifetime. The color is throughout the stone, not just on the surface, and is resistant to fading, scratches, and chips. The new SIP walls, ceilings provide a 50% energy savings when compared to the former stick framing method. This new community also features ground source energy. Ground source energy has been used throughout the world for over 50 years. By pumping fluid through loops of pipe buried underground, these systems take advantage of the relatively constant temperature, 7 to 13 degrees Celsius, 45 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, in the earth to transfer heat into buildings in winter and out of them in summer. With today's concern about energy, there is an increasing interest in ground source heating and cooling. Some electricity is required to run the system, but in the case of heating, more than 2/3 of the thermal energy that is delivered comes from the ground via pipe loops that run vertically 490 feet straight down, that loops horizontally 4 to 5 feet below ground. Ground source heating provides a 50 to 80% energy savings when compared to electric baseboard heating, a 50% energy savings when compared to natural gas heating, depending on the cost of gas and electricity, and a 75% savings when compared to oil furnaces. 2 solar thermal collectors on the roof of each townhouse gather heat from the sun and transfer it through a fluid system to the hot water tank in the basement. A temperature switch in the hot water tank controls the temperature of the water, and if the water is too hot, cold water is added. The electric hot water tank will only operate when required to raise the temperature during high demand or long periods of reduced sunshine. Solar thermal energy provides a 50 to 80% annual energy savings when compared to the former electric hot water tanks. Gray or drain water heat recovery is simple in design and has proven effective in reducing the amount of energy needed to produce hot water. The gray water heat recovery technology in this community recovers heat from the hot water used in showers, bathtubs, and sinks. A copper heat exchanger replaces a vertical section of the main waste drain. As warm water flows down the waste drain, incoming cold water flows through a spiral copper tube wrapped tightly around the copper section of the waste drain. This preheats the incoming cold water that eventually flows to the domestic hot water system. Gray water heat recovery technology works well with all types of water heaters, especially with solar water heaters, which are in place in this community. A gray water heat recovery system provides a 42% energy savings before the solar savings. To ensure the best indoor air quality possible, heat recovery ventilators were installed in each unit to move stale, contaminated air from inside the house to the outdoors. At the same time, fresh, oxygen-laden air is drawn into the house and distributed throughout. This cycle is repeated up to 8 times per day. Adding to the long-term sustainability of this community are the steel roofs. These roofs have a warranty of 50 years and contribute to making the community photovoltaic ready, should that be decided in the future. Other technologies in this community include low-flow 4.2-liter dual-flush toilets, compared to the original 13-liter toilets. Energy Star triple-pane low-E argon-filled glass windows. The original windows in this community had R values of R1 to R2. With the new windows, the R value is an R4, a 50% savings in energy. Eco-foam insulation in the basement. Low-flow shower heads and aerators on taps. T8 and compact fluorescent lighting, the energy-efficient lighting that will provide 50 to 80% savings in energy. Energy Star ceiling fans. Humidity-controlled bathroom and exhaust fans automatically turn on when humidity levels rise, inhibiting the growth of mold. Smart Key technology, cost and time-saving alternative to master keying. First and only 2-cylinder key-controlled deadbolt. Either cylinder can be rekeyed in seconds without removing the lock from the door. Every room has a phone, cable, and internet outlet. 18 tenants stayed throughout the construction and are now in their new homes. Funding from all levels of government was maximized to reduce the amount of mortgage that would be needed. The rents paid by the residents will carry the operating costs of the community and provide for annual contribution to the capital reserve for future replacements.